So, how does a conversation outside a record store lead to a free pair of vintage Polk speakers? And do they still hold up today in a world of modern hi fi? Let me tell you the story of my Polk Monitor 10 Series 2 and why they've become a cornerstone of my system. A while back, I was hanging out at Fat Dog Vinyl, the local record store in my town. I'd gotten to know a few of the guys who worked there, talking about music, my turntable, and the stereo system I was putting together. At the time, I had my AR turntable and my Onkyo receiver, but I was still running it through these old Iowa speakers from the 90s. Not bad, but nothing to write home about. So I casually mentioned I was looking for a good pair of speakers. And this guy, Dylan, goes, "I've got a pair of Polks in my car. You want them?" I thought he was joking, but sure enough, we walk outside, open the back of his hatchback, and there they are, Polk Monitor 10 Series 2 speakers, just sitting in the trunk. He said he didn't need them anymore and just gave them to me. I loaded them up, took them home, and gave him a big Dunkin' Donuts gift card the next day as a thank you. Seriously, audio karma is real. Now let's take a closer look at these speakers. These are the Polk Monitor 10 Series 2, built in the late 80s and early 90s, right here in the US. Polk called them bookshelf speakers at the time, but let's be real. At 40 pounds each and 24 inches tall, these are basically small floor standers. You're not putting these on a bookshelf unless you want to redesign your whole house. Which is where these come in. Custom wood stands made by my father-in-law. They lift the speakers to the perfect height and keep them off the floor for tighter bass and cleaner imaging. Plus, they just look awesome. Here's what's going on under the hood. Two 6.5-inch mid-bass drivers side by side, one 10-inch passive radiator, not a powered woofer, but it adds real depth to the bass. Looking really close at my tweeters here, it actually looks like these are possibly not the originals because this appears like it's a Polk Silk Dome RDO 194 in mine. But usually these Monitor 10s came with the Silver Dome SL2000 dome tweeter. I like the way that mine sounds. I've heard that the original SL2000s can be a little bright for some people. These speakers are rated at 8 ohms, 89 to 90 dB sensitivity, and they weigh around 38 to 40 pounds each. They don't need a monster amp, but they do respond well to solid power. So where do these sit on the audiophile spectrum? I'd say they're squarely in that sweet spot, way beyond entry level, but not ultra high end. The Monitor 10s give you wide soundstage, tight bass, and articulate mids, especially with vinyl, but still leave you room to upgrade or modify. To me, that's the spirit of the Almost Audiophile. Gear that's accessible, rewarding, and still has room to grow with you. I just noticed something. I thought I had matching tweeters, but after looking closely while prepping this video, I realized something wild. Only one of these is the real deal. My left speaker has the genuine RDO 194 Silk Dome upgrade, smooth, balanced, and designed by Polk to replace the older SL2000. But the other one, it turns out someone at some point swapped in a non-original aftermarket tweeter. No logo, no Polk marking, and a totally different dome material.
Dun dun dun!
So now I've got a proper Polk on one side and a mystery part on the other.
Not a proper Polk.
That's definitely going on my fix-it list. But I gotta be honest with you, that aftermarket tweeter, it sounds so good. I've never noticed. Never noticed.
and I've had these speakers for about 4 years.
So clearly, I've got a FrankenPolk situation going on, but you know what? That kind of thing used to happen all the time with vintage speakers, and it got me thinking, how do these late 80s Polks stack up against the heavy hitters from the golden age of hi fi in the 60s and 70s, like these KLHs, Acoustic Research 3As, or large Advents? These Polks are more about precision and imaging than brute force. Where the old school stuff often felt like a wall of sound, the Monitor 10s give you better instrument separation and tighter low end. That passive radiator setup really helps, and the soundstage feels wide and more detailed. Back in their prime, these were going head to head with speakers like the Boston Acoustics A150, Infinity RS series, and JBL L series. And you know what? They hold their own. Don't get me wrong, modern speakers have come a long way. Better materials, tighter cabinet construction, and smoother tweeters. A lot of new gear is more neutral and clean than vintage, but that's not always the case. But there's something really satisfying about the character and size of these old polks. They don't just play music, they throw it at you in a way that feels physical and fun. So, how do these hold up in 2025? Honestly, they're still an amazing value. You can usually find them used for under $400, and if you pair them with a decent amp or receiver, you're getting a ton of speaker for the money. So, if you're building a vintage system and you're looking for something with classic energy and real presence, the Polk Monitor 10s are still in the game. And if you upgrade the tweeters, you might be surprised at how far they can go. They may not be perfect, but they're still almost audiophile, and that's exactly where they belong. So that's the story of my Polk Monitor 10 Series 2, from a random parking lot gift to a core part of my system. Shout out again to Dylan for the speaker karma and to my father in law for the custom stands. Let me know in the comments what vintage gear you've lucked into, or if you've heard of these Polks before or listened to them. And if you're curious about some of the other things I've been up to, like getting some new things at auction, like these JBLs, this Sherwood amp, and I actually do have a music hall turntable I'm going to be working on soon. So I really hope to bring some interesting information about that high-end turntable to you as well. We're also going to be talking about cassettes and CDs in the near future too. So don't forget to like and subscribe and stay tuned for more of the Almost Audiophile.